This is just going to be a very general chat. We've got a few questions from the community that we can chase up with and respond to, but most of it is going to be unveiling some of the plans and features that we have coming up in the future, and some of the new content that we hope to be working on over the next couple of months as well. So we have discussed in the past a couple of things that are coming to the game. Work on that's been going really well, in particular working on the collection designs, looking into the War Games arena, and of course the galactic wormholes. But there may be a bit of a change here. So just before we get into that, we'll also be discussing a couple of things for PSS2, and then of course at the end we'll answer any questions that players have posted in the chat. So please be posting there if you do have any questions or anything you'd like to ask Sin or the team, and I'll get that sorted as well. Usually we do have one of the community managers in here with us to help, but unfortunately they're just not available today, so I do apologise. You won't be able to hear Drama Llama's lovely voice this time round, but hopefully we can still make do. Alright, let's get stuck into it.
We get to hear more of your beautiful voice.
Yeah, so let's have a bit of a chat if we can before we get stuck into player questions on what's coming up. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see more and more content being dropped and released regarding the collections update. Now this includes a number of new collections. I believe we're sitting at 12 to 13 new collections at the moment, potentially 14. We've just been working and growing ideas as we've been going through these. Firstly, I'd really like to thank key members of the community who've been helping with the testing for these. Their feedback has been really invaluable. Now we take all player feedback at the highest note possible, and being able to work with players directly has really helped us. Not just strike a chord in things like balance that we take a long time working through the numbers on and relating to the two testers, but being able to get a general feedback review from how players feel about something, whether it thematically ties, whether it has enough of an effect on game, and whether it makes them feel like their choices are, have some weight to them. So we're going to be spending a little bit of time over the coming weeks, not just improving testing and making sure that everything's good to go, but probably improving the effectiveness of these changes so they make a bit more of a splash in game. So there's a couple of things that we've already unveiled regarding these collection bonuses. They do have their own unique set of triggers or things that will cause them to activate, which should allow players to combat a couple of key strategies that they struggle with at the moment. So there's a lot of teleporter defense, there's a lot of fire defense, there's a lot of offensive skills based for teleporters. There's going to be a lot introduced over time that we can kind of flesh out and discuss with guys, not just within the testing community, but with all players as a whole. So that should be something to look forward to over the next couple of weeks, and we do plan to be releasing that probably within 4 to 5 weeks, fingers crossed. On that note, we are having a bit of a discussion at the moment, and we would love to hear your feedback on it. Player thoughts on this one are quite important. We may even do a poll, but we're going to be looking at potentially delaying the Galactic Wormhole and War Games Arena event, and instead focusing on getting the ship level 13, including the new room variants and expanded ship holes in earlier. So what we're basically asking players at the moment is, what would you prefer? Would you prefer that we added Galactic Wormholes now and added War Games Arena now and then ship level 13 off in the future? Or would you rather see that new ship level added sooner before the Galactic Wormhole event?
13.
So already getting some messages already.
So the thing is, you probably want to clarify the wormhole, because I think a lot of people...
Yeah, we can definitely go over that as well. So let's get stuck into what the Galactic Wormhole event is. Basically, wormholes will appear a certain capped number around the galaxy map. You're able to visit these, and they work as a semi-roguelike progression system where you will battle, say, 6 to 8 ships. Each time you do a set of 6 to 8 ships, you will actually get a buff or debuff for the next rank or the next cycle of these ships. Now that has a pretty heavy effect on gameplay. We're talking about tripling reload times for certain rooms, increasing damage of certain, not just rooms, but certain crew types. There's a lot that goes into it, including things that change the time on a battle, the external effects on a battle, environmental effects. It is very detailed, but each time you progress through these ranks, not only will they get harder numerically, but they will also start to join together. At certain stages throughout this progression, each rank, or let's call it a level, you will receive an option to visit a trader, perhaps repair, perhaps heal your crew, because once you lose a crew at any stage in the level, they are gone forever. Perhaps get some kind of bonus or buff effect. And there's always the option, of course, to re-roll what options you provided, probably by watching an ad and then maybe spending Starbucks. But the biggest thing that we're worried about at the moment is making sure that the difficulty scale is relative to the rewards as well. So these are going to be completely ranked. Now, these ranks and ladders that do appear for the Galactic Wormhole events, while they will be separate for each one, there will be specific achievements that you can achieve, that you can gain on your account for these. And then, of course, you can show off the pin and kind of have it as a badge of honor on your account. They will be quite difficult. There will be required a lot of, I think, community work together on the best approaches to battle these. We want to make sure it's not an RNG thing, but there is something you can strategically adapt to, perhaps even change your ship layout as you progress. But it's something that we'll need to discuss and flesh out as time progresses. Our biggest focus at the moment, as you can imagine, has been the collections and just making sure everything's okay there. Let's talk really quickly about Wargames, if I can. Wargames Arena is a specific area in the Galactic map. When you go there, you will be able to do one of three things to begin with. Firstly, you'll be able to test your ship against a variety of ship archetypes. This kind of lets you refine your strategy and be able to say, look, if I'm going to tackle a hangar-based ship or a gunship or a teleport-based strat ship, what can I do to improve my strategy? Is there a way I can test this and refine my strategy without having to spend my PvP or go through and lose resources in a realistic PvP situation? That's kind of where we're starting. After that point, we're going to have a number of ships that kind of break the game rules. So we're not just talking about ships that have 100 times the HP of a normal ship, and our goal is to try and beat it within the 2-minute timeline, or see as how far you can get to climb the ranks and be based on that ladder. There's also going to be ships that break the rules similarly to how the older community manager ships had. So perhaps they'll have 3 or 4 hangar rooms. Perhaps they'll have a breach on the number of crew you're supposed to be allowed in normal PvP play. All sorts of different stuff like that. We want to keep a bit of a lid on this one because we want to make it a bit more exciting. One example I can give is there will be ships that are so offensively powerful that the goal will be to survive as long as possible. And then we'll rank it based on how long you can survive. So that's kind of where we're heading with the Wargames Arena. There will be a third option that we haven't unveiled yet, and I kind of want to keep closed doors on that one, except with the testers just for now. With that being said, if you would like to test some of the upcoming content, please feel free to just jump into the Discord testing channels, put in a submission, and Kildare will be able to review it as soon as possible. So that's kind of where we're looking with the content that we've teased already, excluding the collection stuff, of course. So what we're basically asking players is, hey, is this something you would like now? Is this something you would like us to get out as soon as possible over the next few months? Or would you rather see ship level 13 with a new type of room, a new type of mechanic, and of course raising the bar on everything else except crew levels? There's also one other change that we will be discussing that's being floated around at the moment, which is a method of improving your current crew. Now, their efficacy in a battle scenario, whether it's in a room or whether they're teleporting or whether their survivability needs to be improved, that's something that we are looking into at the moment. It will work very similarly to merge mechanics, where you need a copy of the crew to join them together to promote them to some kind of VIP tier. We feel this could really help with the feedback that players have provided, that they feel really disheartened and let down if they get a secondary copy of a crew, and they're not that happy about biorecycling grinding it either. Now, we will be looking into improving biorecycling, of course, but something else to offset this so players have more choice with what they get when they get a duplicate draw. I think that could probably help as well. This will raise the effectiveness of crew, this will raise their power levels, but it's something that we can balance out, especially in consideration with ship level 13. There's one more thing that we'd like to mention realistically, and that's one of the new room designs that we're going to be introducing with ship level 13 is very strategically based on how you position it within your ship hull. This is going to affect nearby rooms, similarly to how armor blocks affect nearby rooms, except it will provide a buff depending on the room that it's adjacent or connected to. We're still ironing out the details here, but it's something that can be used to really double down on your chosen strategy, whether it's hangars, whether it's teleport or gunships. Sorry, someone just walked past there. It is something that, again, will improve player choice and strategic decisions, especially defensively, but we want to make sure that it's something that players are more interested in at this stage, rather than seeing the new events and things like that be added. So I think I'll throw it over to Zin for a bit of a discussion on that.
Wow, that sounds so exciting.
Yeah.
There's 4 really exciting features coming up.
Yeah, we've actually...
I can't wait to try those.
Yeah, it'll be great to get you involved, because you always give some really good feedback as someone who's been playing for so long. But what's also going to be good is I noticed that you've been playing a lot of Battle Pass lately. So what we're going to be doing is looking into some kind of live ops event that will make it more worthwhile to complete your dailies during a certain time. So a certain weekend event that would increase the rewards that you get from Battle Pass, just to make sure that players that don't have time to log in every day can still complete the Battle Pass, can still compete and kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, I know from the previous, it's been almost 2 months since we had the last AMA, and I know in the last AMA there was a lot of questions, concerns about how much content is coming in PSS, and while we're also working on PSS2. So I think from what you just mentioned, there's clearly a lot of new features coming to PSS, which is great, and we can't wait to get those out and to hear players' feedback. There's also another kind of new feature, like experimental feature. We want to get into PSS1, which is a Dolores chatbot. So
the chatbot,
yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah, I think you know about it. We've been working to get the wiki, in-game wiki, into the game for quite some time. But in addition to that, sometimes you just don't want to read a whole bunch of articles on how to do specific setups. So what we envision is go into a group chat room with Dolores. You can ask her questions. How
like
to
you don't add one of those assistant, you go
like a chat GPT, but for PSS.
Yeah. That would be really helpful.
You don't only have to ask it game related questions. You can ask it anything. So that's
okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I think that will really help with players that want to know prestige recipes and things like that, to double check stats on stuff just before they make a choice in game. I think that'll be very cool.
Yeah, and so there's been a lot of content rolling out. They're really fun content. We've also had the UGC come out, but I think in the horizon there's at least 5 new type of content coming into PSS1.
UGC, that's a really good point. How are you guys liking the new UGC system? We've had some amazing submissions from players. They've gotten some really good designs out there. I will mention we'll be doing another intake of UGC skins soon. And we've also gotten some feedback that players want a bit of a better notification that there are new skins available and where to find them. So we will be looking into that definitely. I just want to say thank you though to everyone who's submitted a skin. Yes, it is great that you get a bit of a boost in Starbucks each time someone makes the purchase. That's fantastic. But still, we do appreciate the time that you've put into it. And I think a lot of players do too. It's kind of cool to have that extra creative outlet and player involvement in creating something visual in a game. It's always been interesting for people, I want to name this weapon or I want to name this item, but for them to be able to create art for the game is just fantastic. Originally I thought, it'll just be some really standard, some presentation submissions, no animations, but we've got beautiful animations, beautiful artwork, and more to come. So just make sure that you do jump into the UGC submission page, have a bit of a look and vote on which ones you like. We do take player votes probably as our primary source before proceeding into any internal considerations and how we can set things up as well. So all your votes are appreciated as well. So thank you guys.
I think the UGC feature is gonna really make PSS1 a custom environment, where there's more community-driven content, and the community is the most important part of Pixel Starships.
Oh, definitely.
So,
the players are so important to us. But then you've got, we need to add stickers. I think players are really, really keen to get UGC stickers in as well. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, awesome. So I think we're gonna wrap up in 5 minutes. I guess we'll spend a little bit of time on PSS2 updates as well, because we don't want to go over our allocated time slot.
Oh, we started a bit late.
Yeah. So I think if we move on to the PSS2 question, a couple of people have been asking the PSS2 channel when the next release is. So we've got a beta rollout plan in the next 2 weeks. I've announced that in the PSS2 backer channel. So if you are in like one of the tiers that's, I think there's about 150 or so players, you will get access to test PSS2 pretty soon. In terms of game features, we've been focusing a lot on getting content in PSS1. So how are we differentiating PSS2 at the moment? PSS2, as everyone knows, we've said it's an experimental state of game. So we anticipate running the beta for a really long time while we getting the player feedback, the economy balanced. So at the current state of PSS2, we want to deliver this polished experience on PvP. That's the focus. So the next PSS2 rollout, you'll be able to select any of the 4 factions. We previously locked it to only the Pirate faction, but now you can do Pirate, Grey, Quatarian, Federation, and you can play PvP in a semi-competitive state. So there's different strategies because every faction has different weapon sets. There's obviously a different ammo system in PSS2. There's a layout system. So in the next month or so, we want to get players on to really try out how the game is playing from a PvP angle. That's coming pretty soon. We haven't emphasized so much on the single player features and the side features just because we know the core AI gameplay is what ties the game together. That's similar to PSS1. But in addition to the graphics being different, the characters have different stats. It's a Dungeons and Dragons kind of stat system now. There's new training. So we want to make sure all of those things make sense.
The new oxygen system is amazing. The ground battle system, or I don't know if we can discuss that yet.
Yeah, we can.
Fantastic.
Sherry's in the room as well. She's been getting the new ground battle. It's a completely different ground battle system.
AI actually has a play in it and a meaning. There's meaningful decisions that you make. It's not just attack. It's very interesting from what I've seen so far.
Great, awesome. So maybe we'll have a look at any Q&A that's been sent in from the channels as well, and get a couple of those because we'll go
over these ones as well.
Yep. Cool.
So just to jump into a couple of questions that you guys have already posted, thank you for posting into the channel, really appreciate that. When we were looking at re-releasing Battle Pass Crew, and this is a question from Boomerhands, he's just asking if we're ever going to be looking at reintroducing older Battle Pass. The crew, yes, we've mentioned that a couple of times, but just to reiterate, that is coming in the future to the Dub Store. We will be working on that alongside some Dub Store improvements, probably at the same time as the collections update in a few weeks, so just be aware that that's just about to drop as well. From King Vietnam, you were talking about when the wormholes appear. It totally depends on what players prefer at the moment. So if we hear feedback that they would prefer ship level 13, it'll probably be delayed a little bit, but that's all in the interest of keeping the game not just what the players want, but making sure that everything's well balanced and that we don't introduce a level 12 and then a level 13 in context or competition with each other. It's something that we will definitely announce about once we have confirmation, but we do want to make sure that this decision is not just on us at the moment. We want to make sure that we've got player feedback. It's important.
And of course, just to mention, obviously you and Vincent have been working really hard on the collections update. That's just around the corner. So once that's out, we want to see the reaction in the whole community on that. And maybe some of the planning of the next feature set will be taking those feedback into account, right?
Definitely.
That also affects the the balance of the game.
Definitely. So we will be watching with a close eye on any of the feedback provided from players, watching the stats and how things are going for battles, especially once there's been a little bit of time for players to adjust their character rosters and choose different collections. It is something that we're very open to, and we're very receptive to feedback. So there may be continual changes, at least not sporadically, but in set updates as we follow the collection update. One more question that was posted to us earlier was from Dalai Lama. Any changes to the events or any new events planned? So we're actually running a live AI event at the moment, guys, which we've managed to get a few changes in for. One of the issues that we saw with the live AI events was the rewards giving stacks of items to achieve a value rate. So to achieve a certain value rate for performing, say, 9 victories with 0 losses, it would repeat a certain item a number of times just to try and get up to that value. So we've actually prevented it from being able to give 32 screwdrivers or anything crazy like that, which also made it very difficult to deal with those, even if you were going through them all individually and turning them into Stardust. So we are trialing that this weekend, but players should notice a lot higher rewards just in not only crafting consumables, but the base Starbucks that they get in return as well. So that is something that is currently happening with the Aries event. So please give it a shot and let us know what you think in the feedback channels. Other than that, there's not too much that has been posted in the original thread, but let's look into your questions.
So we do have some questions. So I think some people are asking about because how we had to just pass the Stardate 3000. I think they're asking why there's no hull for sale. I thought we were selling the Galaxy. There's
we had
the
another
Millennium ships.
So we didn't have a Millennium 3K ship this time round. It was just something that we couldn't work into, and the Millennium 2K was already a level 12 refined ship, so it was something that was already set or prioritized for level 12. We may be looking into the Millennium 3K for level 13. It's something that we still haven't really got fleshed out at the moment, so we just went with the stickers, which seem to be quite popular. I really like those designs from one of our artists, Abby. We kind of just stayed on that and re-released the 2K. There aren't any plans in the immediate future, so I'm talking 1 to 2 months ahead, to release a 3K. No.
Yeah. So I think the other question here.
But you know what? If anyone wants to draw like a 3K UGC submission, feel free to do that, and we'll definitely keep an eye out in the approval process and try and roll something out. Yeah, I know there's a lot of great artists in the community. So.
Oh well, the Kickstarter ships were just so cool, and they're still really popular. So that's something that we could definitely look into.
Yeah. Yes, we have UGC now. We can take player submissions.
Really get their feedback and their suggestions, because they've got great ideas. So.
Yeah, and just related to that point with the AI events, one new thing, I think Thomas wanted to raise this as well. As I was playing the Battle Pass, and I know we had a look at Battle Pass completion rate, for more casual players, it's a little bit difficult to complete the full pass. So we're looking at weekend events, I think. It's coming soon.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's similar to double gas, but like triple XP points for Battle Pass, which, I don't know. I think for me it will help get progressed higher.
Especially when someone can't log in every day. So it's something that should help, especially over a 4-day event. We're also going to be looking into potentially, depending on how we go, I know we're a bit of a smaller team, so it's hard to kind of run these things in parallel, but we'll probably be looking at a method of applying item skins to other items. There will need to be some kind of control on this, depending on whether it's a max limit or if you can only do it a certain number of times per item. We'll need to have a bit of a consideration or discussion about that and take into consideration player requests, but it is something that will be difficult in the short term. At the moment we want to focus on getting this new content in, upgrading everything that's been a bit stagnant for a while, look at things like Spice Traders, their list of items, the Spice Trader encounters, a lot of stuff like that we want to work on primarily, but it is something that is on our radar. Any other questions?
So I think the main one here from it's probably something I have to answer is regarding from the recent Rush update. I am aware that there are some players from the non telespam community. So basically the Rush update was mainly intended to nerf the potency of the Rush command ability itself. On the higher power rooms. So, but the side effect of this is that because we were trying not to break the telespam strategy. So, but the downside of this is that it affected every other strat. But we do actually have planned changes to affect to rebalance the telespam strategy. So you guys don't have to worry. I understand that currently because we decided to delay them because we wanted to actually monitor the effects of the Rush command update first before we actually introduce the other changes that will rebalance.
So it was more in the microcosm of super weapons being just unbelievably scaled.
Yeah, because we didn't want to introduce all of them at once because it's hard to monitor the effects that way. We might just be undoing our previous efforts.
Feel free to announce the new room. Feel free, go for it.
Yes, we do have So the intention here is that we will be introducing a new teleport room. It's called the mass teleporter. So I understand this sounds like a buff to telespam, but it's not actually, because the intention here is that we're trying to spread out the effectiveness of teleport rooms into multiple rooms, because one of the biggest issues with the teleport strategy is that it's all focused on just that single room. So it makes it really hard to balance because it's everything hinges on that room and it has to be strong. Otherwise, it's gonna be if you nerf it, or it's gonna break everything else. So that's one of the reasons why we have to be careful.
It's going to be well timed. We're going to have the collection update, which will have effects on teleporters. Yeah. Now they've got a bit more choice and it's a bit more versatile because there's multiple rooms. Yeah. You'll be able to send over a bunch of crew at once. I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, so it's a lot of wait and see to see how things work. We gradually just make gradual changes, like minor changes here and there, and hopefully it will balance out in the end. Yeah.
Cool. Just where we're running up to the 30-minute mark, is there any pressing issues? We also want to take feedback from the active live chat.
Nothing that we haven't already addressed.
Okay.
See. If we vote for level 13, would it come out faster than wormholes?
Yes. So the vote is, which do you want to see first, guys? Do you want to see wormholes and the War Games arena, or do you want to see ship level 13 first? So get your votes in, let us know. I'll probably create a feedback thread or something like that so players can jump in. It's something that we'd really love to get your input on. We of course have our own ideas, and I'm not going to spill on any of that, but it's something that we'd like to say, hey, we really took players' guidance on this and listened to feedback and kind of adjusted our plans based on that. I don't think it's fair for us at this stage to say, oh yeah, we're very receptive to feedback and then make our own decision anyway. So we are prepared at the moment to pivot and proceed with either one. We've got work done in both sections, but as far as getting one out sooner than the other, that's what we're asking you guys. What do you want to see first? Ship level 13, new rooms and mechanics? Wormholes, Galactic Wormholes, or War Games Arena, and War Games Arena, I should say. Those are the two options.
So it's great. It sounds like there's a lot of stuff on the horizon and in the pipeline. It's more a matter of the capacity to deliver all of them. So we just have to prioritize the ones that you guys want first in the prio. And also, I think on PSS2, by June this year, we want to start testing a soft launch version of the game. It will only be available in certain markets as well. So it's not a really like a production launch, but we want to start getting a bigger player base to trial some of the features. So we'll post some new. Right now we're just on track to do that. We may be late. But I'll post some additional information if we get closer to that date.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's soon.
And on Steam as well, we should be. There's a Steam Next Fest coming up in June, middle of June. So if you want to have a limited window to play test PSS2 and you haven't joined the Kickstarter, you can still, I think, access the game for 2 weeks during that window as well. Yeah.
That's cool. That'll be really interesting, especially for people that couldn't get in time for
Yes.
the alpha.
Yeah.
I think there is one question we might want to address is I think there's some requests about nerfing the Galactic Alchemists.
Ah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there's,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I'm not going to say anything else other than yes. The changes are coming for the GA crew. We've always had a bit of a agreement that we won't directly nerf crew. Instead, we'll provide alternate options, alternate buffs to kind of balance things out. So be on the lookout for changes for a number of mechanics, not just arson, not just firewalk, but things even reaching beyond that. Things like sprinkler systems, the mechanics in game, power levels of certain collection bonuses to counter these setups. There's a lot that's going to be kind of thrown out in the balance changes coming up, but at the moment I don't want to set anyone running or screaming. We will provide enough warning for this stuff, but we want to make sure that the crew is still valuable. People don't feel like they've lost their investment. That's important to us, especially if they've been playing for a long time and have spent a lot of time and effort setting up their collections or their crew roster. It's just something that we want to take the right amount of time to do properly. So we're not directly looking into a massive nerf in numbers, although I can't say that's off the table as far as a small nerf. So it does depend on how we build the system out to make sure it's a bit more robust rather than 1 or 0. So it will take a little time.
Wow. So I think I'm going to be the timekeeper and say we're going to wrap things up there. But that was super insightful info from Tom, and I think a lot of exciting new stuff to look forward to on PSS.
PSS1, I'm excited about PSS2. Well, that stuff sounds amazing.
We might need to have like another AMA to go over the launch features on PSS2 next
I think
time.
so. And I've got to say again, guys, please let us know which feature you'd like us to work on. Just quickly again, it's ship level 13 and new mechanics like new rooms or galactic wormholes, which is kind of like that roguelike element, and the whole test ship and special battles, which is Wargames Arena. Please let us know.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.